What is going on, everyone? We are back with the next review.
Next season.
Starting season 2 today.
I know, it's exciting. This is Depraved, and I'm Hellcat.
And together we are
Hella Depraved.
And we are. Before we get started, so this is... we originally told everyone we were going to do a Boulet Brothers ranking for season 1. And that was supposed to come out last week. As
Boulet
you can tell,
Brothers outfits.
Outfit ranking, yeah. Right. As you can see, that video did not come out last week.
We did do it.
No video came out last week. We recorded it.
Yeah.
And then I deleted the recording.
Accidentally.
Because I was mass deleting just a bunch of shit to clear up some room on the computer because I hadn't done it in a while.
So we didn't exactly lie. We did do it.
And I didn't realize...
It just did not get uploaded.
Right. I didn't realize that...
it was part of the package.
It was part of the package that I deleted.
So we will be combining season 1 and season 2 Boulet Brother outfits, ranking them at the end of this season instead. Which is fine because honestly, there's like 2 of their outfits per episode, so it's not a big deal. It's just kind of a bummer because it was there, we did it, you know.
Right.
You know, accidents happen.
So season 2, episode 1 is called Get Hooked. We already were. I'm just saying. So we get a different kind of intro this go around.
Where they're badass boss bitches.
Still the great, terrible acting that we've come to know and love.
It's worse than B-side horror, but we're here for it.
And it is, it's the Boulets basically confronting, or trying to get their show on the air. And
in a network.
And the network being like, nah.
You're gonna kill people? This is a little gay for us.
Yeah, what's funny is, so they actually had probably the most flamboyantly gay person in that room tell them that it's not hetero enough, and I laughed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're supposed to.
Right.
I think the whole thing is just, and then they
I
telekinetically like do the fire starter bullshit and
I love
burst
Drac
blood
and
vessels in the brain. Yeah.
Drac overly being like, "Don't fuck with us." She hit him with the Jack Nicholson
but there's somebody else who does something that's more like the statement is more theirs. But yeah, it's definitely here's Johnny type shining Kubrick crap. But yeah, the fire starter, bursting blood vessels in the brain.
They use their brain to kill the network execs and then change it to the Boulet Brothers production.
Which is totally fine with me. I'm here. I think they should take over more, honestly.
Right. It'd be a lot better.
Big Pharma.
Alright. So then we get everyone being introduced as they do in a new season. And this one, everyone was introduced through body bags.
They're dragged in body bags.
We don't know if they were dragged in because they were just sitting there. But there's a circle of body bags, and what's his face? I can't remember what his name is.
Isaiah?
I don't think that was Isaiah.
Israel.
Israel.
Look, I knew it was a very biblical sounding name, right. Okay?
So Israel comes in and opens up all of the body bags. The first one's all super slow. And you see what looks like the penguin's hand come out of that.
Right. No, it's actually, it's very well done.
And
it's a whole bunch of rattle, creak.
Right, and then they go through and open up all the others. And we get introduced to everybody. Everybody being this season's contestants are Bitch Puddin', Dolly, Abora, James Majesty, but you can call her Your Majesty for short.
It's one letter shorter.
It's one letter shorter. Erica Clash, Monique Shame, Disasterina, Kendra Onyx, Felony Dodger, and Victoria Black. Now, they were revealed in that order.
In that order, yeah. That's not our ranking.
That's not a ranking.
We already have it, but that's not our ranking.
That is just how everyone is
that's the order they come out of the body bags.
Now.
It's fun, though, too, because they do almost like a Nickelodeon intro for them. I'm Dolly.
Yeah.
It's really cheesy and really, really great.
So, the first one that actually gets any speaking lines, and straight out the gate, just to grate on everyone's nerves, especially if it's your third time watching through this season,
third. Jeez.
And
Slacker.
especially if you've watched other season that this person is in.
Right.
Is Abora. And here's the thing. This season specifically, Abora irritates the mess out of me. And we'll get into that once we get to those moments that they happen. Oh, and then one of them happens very soon.
Very.
I actually feel more pity and down for Abora in
when she returns.
Titans.
Yeah. Honestly, that mess is not her.
She doesn't come in as annoying like she did in this one. Like this one, she almost out the gate tells you she's annoying. She's like,
oh, no, she does. She does.
And you're like, you're right.
Yeah, wow, okay. You got that nail on the head. Yeah, we'll get to why we feel pity.
But she's more quiet and reserved for
she's
a
honestly
little bit
just a pawn.
of Titans.
She's just a pawn for a lot of Titans, and a lot of the stuff is outside of her control. Obviously, how she reacts to it isn't the greatest, but I don't know that I would be much particularly understanding in this situation, because it's a love triangle and those suck, and I hate even reading about them, and I'm an avid reader, so there's that. However, this season she does start off with, I am annoying.
And proves it.
Pretty quickly.
And then, again, now, we'll get to that when we actually get to the boudoir section of it, but let me just tell you guys now. If I were watching the seasons in order, and
for the first time
ever, and you go from season 1 to season 2, a lot changes in just one season, especially the level of cattiness as a whole. And I love it.
And I believe that they definitely did it on purpose by expanding the filming in the boudoir. It's a longer thing. They upgraded to a walk-in closet versus just a broom closet for the boudoir.
They invited multiple people from the same cities so that people would know each other.
Had sort of dissension in the ranks.
Because there's two couples, not couples.
Seattle and Georgia are the two states. Well, no, she was a Floridian. She moved to Georgia. So Bitch Puddin' and Abora are in Georgia, and Monique and James Majesty are in Seattle.
And both couples of people, they're not couples in the term of
have dating, issues,
but they hate each other.
Have serious issues.
At least starting off.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, so once they're all introduced and everybody kind of gives a little, a few people talk a little bit about themselves in the little,
barely, but yeah,
in the little intro thing. The Boulets come out, and let me tell you what. Let's go ahead and get this started.
Let me tell you what.
Them
Majesties. This is probably
when the lights come on.
When the lights
and they show up in these dresses.
Oh,
I'm just saying, it's fantastic.
The Elizabeth Taylor, just drop dead gorge.
This is the type of thing.
This is.
I don't know as much about Elizabeth Taylor per se, but I do know this is the type of thing I could even see someone like Elvira wearing.
Oh yeah. But a lot of the ladies of the night were adapted from, the classic looks, and it's the hairstyle, honestly, plus the glam look, because she was known for glamour, red specifically, but it's the black hair and the almost Cleopatra style-esque, because that was one of her major roles.
Right.
But it's their makeup, their eyes. This is just. Come on now.
It's flawless.
Plus, they come out and they have thrones this season. They're not just standing, on a cardboard set or anything. They come out with thrones. Come on now. Bow down. Bow down.
So, we get our first...
I'm going to raid their closet at some point, I swear.
Even though it does not have this name, we get our first ever Fright Feet challenge.
Yeah, I mean, this is season 5, where they make everybody do fright feats because they're kind of tired of people always being on top and never having to experience them. So they just start everyone out from the get-go.
Right.
And
but yeah, this one, again, season 2 is the very first one they ever did. This was the first time we got a little, hey, we're going to do something a little fun before we do everything.
You might get a little extra if you win.
And so what it is they end up doing what is called the blood jug, as they call it. And it's an alcoholic drink that apparently the Boulets helped make up or were part of.
Something like that. It's
known for or something. They're tied to it somehow.
Did you actually look it up?
No.
Because it legit looks like blood, and there were some girls gagging, and I wonder if it's not just...
Like pig's blood?
Pig's blood with vodka.
It could be.
I mean, it certainly could be. If anybody knows, let us know, because some of those girls look like they were turning green in the gills.
And
it looked kind of chunky.
To nobody's surprise...
None. Nobody on stage, at least.
Monique wins.
Right. And then goes on to tell us that she is the Chug Queen, so...
Right. And then the very last person...
Was Victoria.
Was Victoria Black. And so, the advantage, somebody was supposed to win an advantage. It wasn't much. It wasn't really an advantage. It was...
Monique won a foot massage.
Monique won a foot massage from Victoria Black, for Victoria Black being the last person.
It's actually not that bad of a... because walking in heels... consistently, you definitely, a foot massage is way up there on the list of things that almost no one can afford but everybody wants,
right?
As long as you don't have a don't touch my feet type problem, which I understand, but I'm not that person,
right? So they then go on to tell everyone that the first week's challenge is and this one actually feels like it's the first time they find out about it, because not everybody is pre-set up with makeup on.
Right, which is a huge...
That was one of our very minor complaints from the first season, is it felt like everyone knew exactly what they were getting into, and then they were being told publicly, which they already knew.
And honestly, we know that they have a spreadsheet of what they kind of need to organize to come to the show in the first place. We know that. But on the flip side, it's nice that they're now taking the time to take breaks between filming. It just felt in season 1 like they filmed everything on the same day if they possibly could, which is possible because of the price of filming. So, you just don't know. But this season it's nice, and they're in different outfits. It's spread out. They look surprised or shocked or happy. Everybody in this one, I don't know, my jaw dropped.
Well, yeah. So... we find out that the challenge is Hellraiser.
Specifically, to become your own Cenobite.
Right, to become your own Cenobite.
Not just take a page from Hellraiser, but Cenobites, the way it's phrased, is become the way they lived and or died.
Right.
And so they wanted something based on the girl's drag reflected in the Cenobite.
And the more I think about it, the more who I think should have won, I reaffirmed in my belief that they should have won.
Oh,
but
I still...
We'll get there.
100%. But yeah, anyway.
So...
But that was the way it was phrased. And I want to be very specific with that. Because they did not just
use your own drag to make it, to turn it... It should be present in...
Right.
Your creation. And it should be something about you.
Right. But what they were going to win was a signed copy of...
Clive Barker's... I don't know the name of the book, but there's only 100 copies of it ever made.
I'm... Can you tell? I'm grumpy. I love Clive Barker. I love Hellraiser. I love his books.
I'm curious as to why there's only 100 made.
Well, this was a signed copy. I don't know. You might still be able to purchase the book, but...
Right.
Not in the condition, the type that they have. I'd have to look.
So then, for the first time ever, we get a move into the boudoir. I don't even think they called it the boudoir. They still don't even call it the boudoir yet.
Well, no, it's a freaking walk-in closet.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is the session that it basically is, and it's our first time seeing just everybody interact with each other backstage as everybody's getting ready. And let me tell you what. Again, the cattiness is out of this world.
They try and start nice. Well, hi, I'm Bitch Puddin'. I'm the Queen of Georgia.
Bitch Puddin' and Abora who can't stand each other, which that's a little more one-sided than anything.
Abora can't stand Bitch at that point, whereas Bitch is like, I respect the fuck out of that artist over there.
Right.
Let's make that very clear. Bitch tries to de-escalate the entire time.
Right. It's okay, baby. We know you have a bias here. So...
It's also very true. But I do. I have a very clear bias. I knew Bitch going into this. I stand.
Bitch is one of the few people that she knew about in any of these shows.
But she does try.
I say that, and it like I said, I was. If she would have let me finish, I was saying it was very one-sided, and it is very much Abora convincing a lot of people, or trying to convince a lot of people at the very
who have
least,
never met them
who
before.
have never met bitch at all, that she is just a basically terrible human being.
Right, and it's not just, she doesn't show up on set. It's more like she made me very uncomfortable by inappropriate touching, non-consensual in front of my boyfriend, and it's like, wow, girl, that's a really toxic claim if it's not true.
Right. So then,
spoiler alert,
we've also got
James Majesty
and Monique constantly going at it, and a lot of that is James Majesty just thinks Monique's absolutely disgusting, a trash human being who's on drugs, and is like an embarrassment to the drag world.
Yeah, her biggest complaint was because of the addictions. She doesn't show up on time. She doesn't perform well. She I don't know, is trash backstage if she shows up. It's more showing up, I think, was the...
And then Monique's claim is that Your Majesty...
it's basic.
Is super basic. Only doesn't like Monique because she was Monique's backup person in a movie she was in.
That fell through.
Yeah,
because of Monique's drugs.
Right.
Right.
And a lot of stuff like that. So they've got their own beef going on.
Right.
You've got who, at this point in the entire competition, just at this point, and we'll see how things go moving forward, which we know how they go, but
right.
Erica is the only one trying to talk sense into everyone.
Right. She is literally like, guys, quit fucking gatekeeping, because this gatekeeping is
why we're here in the first place.
She's like, if you're going to tell other people that they're not monster enough to be here, then the whole point of this show is null and void.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we've got Kendra Onyx, who honestly is just like, hey, yeah, she got, somebody asked what it was like being a gay black person in the military. She was like, it never bothered me. I've always been myself.
Right.
And my mom taught me that, if somebody's got a problem, y'all can roll around in grass, and I'll whoop anybody's ass if they want to come.
Yeah, I know. It's so great. I'm looking at her and I'm like, girl, you be you, girl. I like you, which I do. I do like Kendra, but like I wouldn't take you on.
Now
she basically tells the entire room, come at me.
Now,
it's so great.
One of my favorite contestants ever in the entirety of the series.
So far.
No, period.
No, through season 5. That would be so far.
Is in this season. Now, my favorite person is also in this season. We'll get to them here shortly. But one of my favorites of all time in this series is in this season. It's Disasterina. And
so
it has
fabulous.
I'm going to tell you right now, it has nothing to do with the fact that she is the only straight drag artist in this series that we know of.
Is she really straight? I mean, she's the only one
she's
that's married to a woman.
She says she's married to a
biologic
female.
Woman.
So.
Yeah. No.
But the absolute kookiness that comes from this individual is so much fun. She cannot walk a stage to save her fucking soul. But
oh my god, but her outfits and her attitude
are amazing. Her attitude is amazing.
I thought I was gonna win. Like, just it's so great. It's so great. And she's such a happy person. Like, she's yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of
I need her as my fairy gay mother.
It reminds me a little bit of to a more crazy, kooky extent, of what was the lady that wore the glasses in the season that had the other lady that we actually didn't like? They actually ended up making it to like the final 3. Fuck. Hold on. Was that season 3?
I don't know. You threw me off by saying glasses.
Okay, it might not have glasses, but I think they did. Hold on.
I mean, it is season 3 that
Boulet
has
Brothers Dragula season 3 cast.
But yeah, Disasterina is honestly so goddamn fabulous. Like, I'm so glad that they bring her back as
Louisiana Purchase is what I was thinking of.
I'd love to see the two of them together. That would be...
it would be fucking hilarious. I'm just telling you.
Oh, they would be so great. Because Louisiana Purchase is a little bit more reserved.
Right, a little bit more reserved, but still has that kooky personality that kind of goes behind it.
Well, plus they're both obvious den mothers.
Right.
And that is the energy that they share that everyone's like, oh yeah.
Now, my favorite all-time Dragula contestant does go on to win in one of the seasons of Dragula, just not this one. And that is Dali.
Right.
And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I am not the biggest fan of Dali's presence in this specific season. It's a little underwhelming only because I know what they're capable of and what they go on to be able to achieve.
Yeah, I think
Dali... And Dali even mentions that when they come back into season 4.
Yeah, I don't think... I think the problem was she wasn't completely present for this season. Which is something that you really do come to see when she returns. You see, oh, wow, yeah, that's... Like when she returns, attitude again, is so different.
Season 4 was our first season that we ever watched. And when Dali came in, we had no clue who it was. We were like, oh, cool, they're just bringing someone in that was in the series before.
Actually.
And almost right out the fucking gate, first fucking look they do, and you're like...
It's fantastic.
Holy shit.
However, I will say that at first we were a little wary because she is introduced as Astrid's friend. And we're like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. Right. Although Astrid's first look was okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. However, yeah, this Dali was she came out of the body bag. She looked cute, and honestly, I feel like most of what she participates in this season, she looks cute.
Right, a lot of glam, more glam than
which they do say that they went on to really think about their presence. They now go by they, them, he pronouns because they kind of drop the cutesy girly look, but that's what we get for this season.
Then that leaves we talked about Dali, bitch pudding,
Erica Clash being
James.
A good
Erica Clash honestly goes on to we'll get to there later. We talked a little bit about Erica, who's trying to actually bring everyone together. Monique, Disasterina, Kendra. Okay, Felony Dodger, we don't have much to go on because they get eliminated.
Which is kind of sad.
And we'll get there, though.
Quite interesting. I meant in terms of background. There's really not that much on Felony
to go over.
It is sad because they seem like a cool person,
and then, honestly, what seemed like the season's favorite for the first half of the season is who's the last person we haven't talked about. Until bitch really rises up, and then it could go to anyone at that point out of the two of them. Victoria Black.
Yeah.
It's like when we were watching, as much as she is a fan of bitch, there were a lot of times we were like, Victoria might run away with this and just take it, because Victoria is insanely good. And even, again, we'll get to that when we get to the end of the show. I feel like there were some injustices, if I'm being honest.
Oh, there definitely were. I still don't... We'll get there. We'll get there. I do feel like at the end it was very neck and neck between the two of them. So honestly, it ended up, in my opinion, being a fair call. But yeah, it could have been a tie, as far as I'm considered.
But yeah, so Victoria Black, honestly, just insanely talented. And if I remember correctly, while she does have... if I'm remembering correctly, while she does have a catty side, it's not as vicious as what a lot of others.
No. She's very introverted, so she's much quieter, and she tends to just sort of like close in on herself, which I understand. I'm a complete introvert myself, versus get catty back. Like occasionally she does, and when she drops some of those zingers, it's like, you go, girl. Right. But it's very mild in comparison.
All right, so after the boudoir, we get introduced... Well, hold on. After the boudoir, we get the Boulets, who show back up in their new judging outfits for this episode.
Which is so much fun because they're doing the actual, like...
It's very...
intro, stage presence. Like, they come out with the light shining behind them and they do the... So they were very eerie, kind of ghosty, Beetlejuicy look with this. It was a very ethereal look.
Right. Loved the outfit, loved the design. And again, you're talking about first episode debuting two of my overall favorite looks
ever.
Up to this point, at least. At the very least, up to this point.
At the very least, yeah.
If not at least one of them being in my top, probably in my top 5 of the entire series so far. So, very well done.
They looked fabulous.
Very fantastic. Yeah. Loved it. And they introduce our first couple of guest judges for this season. Our first guest judge is none other than someone I have a love-hate relationship with, Willem Belly.
Right.
I still don't know what they do, other than the fact that they do drag.
Wrote a book.
And wrote a book.
Right.
I don't know what the book is about.
Blowing a producer.
That's what I think it is. I'm not sure.
I believe that's actually, like, somewhat the title of the book.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know who they are, though.
I really, really enjoy her. I do. I think she's funny. I do find her irreverent and sort of...
I do think she's funny, and I think she has some good one-liners, but even she does things that actually gets underneath my skin.
She does do one thing, at least, that I was like, but...
and we'll get there shortly. Mm-hmm. Guest judge number 2 is Gage Munster, who is a special effects artist and has done things for, like, American Horror Stories, CSI...
He's just fun.
And other
he's
shows.
Good fun.
And he's a lot of fun, and really cool and laid back, and not as noisy as most judges tend to be.
Right.
He's actually very reserved.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice to the contestants. They probably felt they needed that.
Right. All right. Moving on. We get all of the looks of all of the contestants.
The latest.
Now, I am not revealing to you guys in order of their coming out and showing off their looks because I had set all this up before we rewatched the episode again.
Well, plus it comes out sort of piecemeal. You get a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
And so the way I'm going to do it is just in alphabetical order. So, first starting off, we get a Bora, who comes out with some, like, baby doll titties. And she has, like, a baby doll face poking out of her butthole.
Look, all the bees are covered.
All the bees are covered. Oh,
hi baby.
Gil.
Yeah.
Just so you guys can see the cat, say hi, Gil. Hey, bud.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All right. Next up
all the bees are covered.
Oh, okay. Next up is Bitch Puddin'.
Bitch. Right.
Bitch Puddin's a lot of fun.
I really like her. Plus, I like her attitude. Even, like, so this is coming off the boudoir scene. She got reamed. Like, that could have been a reputation destroyer entirely. What Abora was claiming she did and the hubbub that Abora was trying to cause about her.
Right.
And she actually stayed... I mean, it was obvious that she was upset and blindsided and, like... It was emotionally damaging to her, but on the other hand, she still stayed respectful of Abora, kept to the topics that Abora was bringing up, did not claim Abora did this, that, or the other. She just was, you know, you know, then she came out and she performed, and that's really hard to do.
Right.
To perform after being emotionally kind of destroyed. So...
After Bitch Pudding, we get not pudding. Dolly, who came out in a full-on pig outfit.
Well, she didn't have hooves on her feet.
No,
she had hooves on her hands.
She did go on to personally get jokingly reamed about having a straight tail instead of a coily pink tail.
Right.
Which is an accurate, you know.
She needed to go to have a perm, I believe is what was said.
Yeah, her tail needed a perm.
Right.
We then get Disasterina with one of my favorite looks.
She actually looked fabulous.
Did a fantastic job. Like, the hair, it like goes through the mouth and then
it reminds
comes
me
out
of Scorpion
down
from Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Right.
She also had a mutilated crotch, which makes sense for...
Right.
Yeah.
And then we got...
Worst runway, though.
Yeah, the runway was terrible.
It was so bad it was good. You know? Okay.
Then we get Erica Clash, who came out as Erica Clash.
Right. Once you get used to her, that's Erica. Right there.
Erica. Very kawaii, video game inspiration.
Which is her look. It's her look.
And then we got Felony Dodger, who you can't really see it there, but Felony's got like glass poking out of the front. You can definitely see it on his back because his back has the cutaway.
Yeah, there's not all that much on the front, plus the sparkliness of the material, kind of. But unfortunately, he is also wearing 93 Club Kid boots.
Right, and we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Right.
James Majesty, who came out in what I believe is barbed wire or razor wire.
Yes. Something of the sort. And the lip stretchers and finger extensions and just all sorts of fun stuff.
And then we get Kendra Onyx, who I believe has barbed wire wrapped around her neck.
No, she has it around most of her. It's just not. She didn't make it into the skirt like James did, but it's wrapped throughout her costume.
I think I only noticed it on the neck though.
It's definitely like around the arms and yeah.
Right.
And also had her hair in almost whip-like extensions.
Right. Yeah. And then we got Monique, and Monique comes out in now we don't get a very good picture of Monique at any point of the entirety of Monique, and I was trying to get as much of everyone as I could. Yeah.
The lights just didn't do her justice.
She didn't do her justice.
Well, that too, but like the lights reflecting off of so much white did not work.
The one thing that you don't get a good shot of in the picture that we have here is her mask,
which was fantastic.
But she came out and like stapled herself 21 times in the face,
something like that,
or 23 times
forehead,
in the face. Like actual staples.
Yeah, like it was. I was honestly, it was a show. It was a show.
Yeah. And then last but certainly not least,
Victoria Black. And no, that is not a tambourine. That is her face. Because if you're not comfortable in your own skin, take it off.
Right.
The sad thing that you can't get both her back and the face because her back is an entirely exposed spine. It's so cool.
And it was done really well.
Yeah.
Really well. All right. So that takes care of. Hey, buddy, what you doing? Can I put your paws? Oh, you're kneading the chair, huh? Someone's comfortable. All right. So next up. So they go through and they talk a lot about everybody. They do a little meeting,
judging panel,
and the judging panel talks about everything. And honestly, they were actually really kind about pretty much everyone. They did have some critiques for a lot of them. Nothing that ever seems too crazy, except for
probably, if you're saying the same thing, the one complaint that I have.
Huh.
Go ahead. What were you going to say in terms of critiques?
Oh, Felony's boots.
Oh, well, yeah, Felony's boots get reamed.
Like reamed. I'm talking about the most reamed I've probably
it was a statement of fact.
Somebody can come in a full-blown, full-body, fucking printed-on outfit for one of their final looks in season 1, and they're being told, "Oh, hey, everything looked great," but somebody comes out in fucking boots.
Well, yeah, and the comment was just so everybody in this competition knows, 93 Club Kid boots are a fatal decision. Now, that is not the comment that got to me. And it was for the same person, poor Felony, while Willem is telling them that adding mirror fragments...
You're talking about when they actually judge them in person.
Yeah, I thought you were judging.
No, we're talking about everything in the background.
Got it, okay.
In the judges panel.
Oh, when they're talking amongst themselves and not to the contestants. Got it, okay.
And I don't mean that to... By the way, what I said, I didn't mean that to be like a dick to anyone. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't compute. And I understand even after we looked up what their
just
aversion is to Club
boots,
Kid boots. But I feel like if it fits the outfit, it should be fine. And in this scenario, it fit the outfit.
Yes and no. I don't know how much of it reflected on their initial decision. I'm just gonna say that. But like I feel if it had been a warning prior, like I feel like they should have given warnings prior.
Or they could have just been like, hey, for future reference,
don't do that.
Don't use these.
Right.
Or if they even give the critique, hey, we're not the biggest fan of the boots, we'll probably try and find some boots that are better than this. And then they bring them back, then you can be like, hey, we warned you.
Right. No, I agree. I just think that it should have been...
Plus, somehow... I think there were at least 3 people who had looks overall worse than Felony.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll get to that. It's just... so, Drac has a complete aversion for these. and they're just, honestly, guys, they're the stacked, generic, black Demonia boots.
That all goth kids should own a pair of. Apparently.
Yeah, I don't have a pair of them. I mean, I have.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a goth kid.
I do have Demonia shoes and boots, but not those. So I think I'm safe.
Right.
Ish.
Now, we do get to the actual judging where they bring everybody up on stage. And they start off with having Dolly, Victoria, Disasterina, James, and Deborah come out. Or stay out, forward. And they send everybody else backstage. And all the people that stay out there, they talk to them and basically, tell them that they are the strongest of this batch of people for this this specific competition. And James Majesty gets the win. Now gets the win, not wind.
I mean, it's possible, but we don't know. That's a little personal.
I said that as anyways, so James Majesty gets the win, and I do not personally disagree, or I don't personally agree. I don't necessarily disagree. I get why James won. I don't get them telling Victoria it's too spot on for it being a Hellraiser look, and the reason being
she absolutely didn't take somebody's style. She didn't
take somebody's style. And this very much is her style. And I think we all come to see that as the series goes on. Yeah. It honestly reminds me a lot of, who was it? Blackberry.
Right. They didn't know who is Blackberry. And again, I think that part of that is just, even though they've selected these people, they don't know them personally. So part of it is figuring out, like, did they just take what we asked them to do too literally, or is there actually their drag in it? And I agree with you entirely. Once you know who Victoria Black is, this is 100% how she would come back as a Cenobite. Like the tall stiletto boots. And
as well, if you're somebody who doesn't feel comfortable in your skin, as a whole lot of people, especially that I'm noticing, that's what I'm seeing in all these drag shows that I'm seeing, people that have grown up in situations where they're not allowed to be comfortable with who they are. Right. And it's not even just people in drag, it's gay people. Anybody who's
different. Yeah.
You know, if you're not somebody who's going to feel comfortable in your own skin, it would make sense to not wear your own skin. Right. And you can see that as them looking to wear other people's skin,
which is always an option.
And illegal, then the symbology with their spine showing, right, as a sign of weakness.
Well, also Victoria is just very, like, she's sci-fi. She does all of the makeup artistry, like the super high cut of her leotard and the styling of her stiletto boots. That's so her. Right. Like, very effeminate, very, but like still in leather and lace. Like, that is very who she turns out to be.
And if I'm also being honest, while I can understand James Majesty as the winner that they had chosen, I won't say clear winner, as the winner that they had chosen, I get it. Yeah. But I don't think anybody nailed it better overall than Victoria.
I'll agree with you there. And I do see why they chose James, not knowing the contestants 100%. Right. I do see it. So I'm not at all down on what James did. I think that's a fabulous look, honestly.
The only person that confuses me as far as being in the strongest section, by the way, and I don't think they look horrible. The more I look at it, the more I realize it very much could be considered a Cenobite look, is Abora. They're the only one that actually confused me as being in the top.
Yeah, no, it could
I
be.
get it.
I get it. I just don't.
But I can actually sit here and tell you, I think Felony Dodger's look was better.
We haven't even ranked them yet.
I can tell you, Kendra. I mean, there's other people that did the Cenobite look better. Right. Now they definitely went a different route to make themselves stand. Oh, you're attacking me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And
do you see this? He's attacking my string.
Yeah.
He's like, give me.
Part of my feelings on this are obviously going to be different than what the judges thought, because otherwise our judgments would be the same. But I was telling Depraved last night that, to me, even with the parameters that the Boulet brothers gave prior to this whole competition about the Cenobites, I still feel like what is lacking in Abora's look or Erica's look or Monique's look, even though her mask is perfect, is that all of the Cenobites have a S&M bent where they are being consistently tortured, but have the ability to torture others at the same time.
Right.
And some of these looks don't have that masochistic bent to them. Like, so Abora's look, while I do understand, and I do think that the tan skin color does make her pop. She had a runway walk for this. This is like one of the only times that she actually walks well. And
actually had a really good gag.
Yeah, like
the
milk from
the milk comes out of the mouth
so
of
great.
the faces.
But there's no, I mean, she said she's the mother that takes, which is the sadistic side of the Cenobite, but where is her torture?
Right.
That's the part that I'm missing. There's nothing in there that says she is also eternally tortured, which is part of the Cenobite thing. So anyway, let's get to the ranking.
All right. Then we get to Bitch Puddin' and Kendra, who are considered safe. So they are then allowed to go back. And that leaves our bottom three. The Boulet's bottom three. As Felony Dodger, Erica Clash, and Monique Shame.
Right.
Which two of the three I agree with.
Correct.
Just being honest. And because the Boulets are perfect at picking what people have to go through.
Because they're sadistic fucks, which is fantastic.
For their elimination challenges. They've never missed with this.
Yeah.
Everyone has to go through and get flesh piercing needles put in through them.
Of varying sizes.
Yeah. It starts off small, they get bigger.
Yeah, that doesn't start off tiny, but it starts off smaller.
Right.
And then they get a post.
And let me tell you now, if there was ever one thing...
Vlad would be impressed.
If there was ever one thing that I would tell them to go fuck themselves on if it was me, this would probably be one of them. I'd have been like, I'm gone.
So you're not up for suspension. Good to know. Good to know. I've thought about trying it. I'd like to fly. I don't personally want the scars, is the thing.
I will
say...
And I
don't think my fibro would like it.
Of this, the great thing is, of this whole challenge, this is where Monique shines.
Absolutely shines. Oh.
Because Monique is just fucking insane, okay? The laughing has some of the most, the most diabolical laughing I think I've ever heard on this show. Right. Because they're like putting needles into her. She's just like, and I'm just like, yo.
She's orgasming through half of it. It was the very end when she was just like...
As a matter of fact, my favorite quote, as is written here...
Oh my god, it was perfect. It was a quote of a quote.
She got... No. My quote...
Oh, is
she goes...
Okay, well, my favorite quote also goes to her, but it's a quote of a quote from season 1.
She's like, you guys think I'm leaving, but not tonight. And I'm like, it's the post that will never die.
So great, and she does it's great.
She says, not tonight, or today,
or tomorrow. It's so funny.
Monique is one of my favorite people that never had a chance. I'm just being honest.
Well, she's
a mess.
She's a broad, but she is really funny, and that's the thing. She's such a mess that she's a hot mess. But she does spice things up sometimes in ways I don't appreciate. This is 100% what I appreciate. She was hilarious. Now I do feel bad for Felony and Erica having to do that particular elimination challenge with Monique, who is, in her own words, on Xanax. Like, I feel that it's unfair to be in a pain-piercing challenge with somebody who is on something that's going to keep them calm and slightly pain-free.
But it does not keep them psychotic. That was all built in.
No, that was her. That was her.
her.
That was 100% her. I said I felt bad for Erica and Felony that they're going in an elimination challenge against somebody that's that,
Now, Erica is the most afraid to get this done. Right.
Never had a piercing before. Never had a tattoo.
It took 4 attempts at trying to stick her with one of the first
No. Okay, I'm ready. No.
Before she finally allowed it.
Great.
And then
I'm ready.
She's also one of only 2 people that asked for the bigger sizes to be done.
Yes. Towards the end, she was like, "You have anything bigger?"
And then the one person who didn't ask for the bigger size to be done is
Felony.
Which I'm pretty sure plays into why he was eliminated.
Yeah, which is just
Monique's nuts
sad.
And just taking it all.
I mean, I pointed this out last night. All 3 of them did extremely well in this challenge. The problem was between Erica being so resistant. I mean, like, guys, don't get it twisted. Like, she was there for it. She was willing to do it. She was just her nerves. So between her reactions, which were humorous in that aspect, and Monique, who's over here orgasming and laughing like a lunatic, and then quoting really funny things, Felony just kind of looked boring in the elimination challenge. And unfortunately...
At least Felony screamed at one point.
Well, and also was like, and there's blood. Yes, that's a big needle. But on the other hand, did really well for the challenge. Didn't, like, knock down getting pierced at all. Did take the large needle, just didn't ask for it. But was boring in comparison to the 2 others' reactions. And, unfortunately.
So Felony ends up being axed.
Felony
gets a chainsaw. Gets a really cool death scene. One of the Boulets grabs him from behind while she's out hanging
laundry on the
clothesline. With some really cool prosthetics. I actually had one of the better looks of the entire show.
Felony looked so amazing. Just like, even like minus the horror look, she looked fantastic in her bodysuit and the way she did her hair and everything. But then, she had the prosthetic fake eyeball coming out of her face, and I was actually really, really sad to see her go, because I was like, if we had gotten these kind of looks from her this season, I would have wanted to see them.
And I really wish... I do. I feel like Felony wasn't necessarily given a fair shot. I mean that.
It's hard to say that for the first episode. Like,
it's not when you're kicked off for something that you didn't know somebody didn't like.
Right.
Again, it'd be one thing if they get a list at the beginning of the season of, hey, do not do these things.
That's what I'm saying. I almost feel like these first challenges need to be elimination free or something. If they're not going to get a...
I wouldn't even say elimination free.
Just like give them a list of no-nos.
Give them legit, like, base the judgments off of legit parameters. Do they look like Cenobites? First and foremost. Should have been the thing. And I'm being honest. Like, adhere to the rules of the game. And if somebody makes a mistake... Because, again, Felony looked more like a Cenobite, and I'm going to say it, than I think half of the contestants did.
Yeah. Okay, we need to rank them so that they can see them parade.
And we'll get there.
And,
There's some other things I want to talk about before we go into the rankings. Okay. So the rankings are the last things we do. In terms of overall things that have changed that I like, things that have changed that I didn't like. First and foremost, we get a real stage.
Yes, real runway.
A real runway that looks really nice.
Yep.
Do not get me wrong. Season 1, it's great for the first outing.
Yeah, but this was.
But you're talking
professional looking. Yeah.
Overall production from season 1 to season 2 is insane. The
difference, yeah.
They have much better sound.
Oh yeah, just the quality all around. Yeah, they have
much better set design. The boudoir is a lot bigger than the last one.
It's actually probably closer to a room. I was downsizing, saying walk-in, but yeah, they have a room.
It's an actual room.
Yeah.
And then everything in my opinion is better, except for one of the things. And again, it's something I loved about the first season, and I didn't realize the first season was the only one that did it until now that we're doing this. I see it. I do like the interview process of the contestants in season 1 more than any other season, because they're getting them as the things are happening. So like everyone goes in and they do something, and then they're pulled to the side and interviewed in the same clothing that they're already wearing for whatever it is that they're in.
Right.
And they're able to give their interviews that way. And the reason I actually personally like that setup more is it gives them a chance to be interviewed while in the moment.
Yeah, so emotions are the same.
So
and
emotions are still riding high. There's no telling how everything turns out down the road and how things are going to change.
Right.
And I feel like the way they do it now, obviously we know now how things change as the season goes on. But the best the contestants can do, like, for instance, I'm just going to make up 2 fucking people here that don't have an issue with each other that I can remember offhand. We'll just say like Dolly and Kendra.
Right.
Right? Say these 2 have an absolute issue with each other. If they wait till the end of the season, and as the season goes on, we can see that they've mended it and they've gotten better.
They've either worked it out or it's gone off.
You're not going to get the same feeling out of them if they come back to talk about it all as you're going to if they interview it after the situation initially happens. And I know that sounds really toxic, like, oh, you just want to see them mad. Yes, I do.
Well, and also some of the interview process is specifically about how they felt when they were doing this, or what were they thinking of when they designed their costume this way. And I would like to have that, like, as they're thinking it through versus after it's done, and they can be like, yeah, I meant to do it this way, it didn't come across like that. No, I want it initially, and then I want the after where they're like, yeah, I see how that didn't work out.
Right.
You know, something along those lines. Or it did work out.
But that is the only thing that I don't like in comparison to what season 1 has. Everything else is leaps and bounds better. And even then, I can put up with the way they do it. It's not like it's a killer for me. Obviously, we love the entire series as a whole.
And I like it. I mean, like, I agree with you in terms of firsthand, like, initial responses. But I do understand if they can't do it that way, because now there's so much else going into the production making it this great, and they can't take the time out to do it at that moment. So of course they have them rewatch clips and then interview them based on it. And I understand. So it's not as big of a peeve.
All right. So we get
the cattiness.
We now get to go to our first ranking of season 2.
Yay!
So let me switch screens to our brand new.
Yes, it looks so pretty.
It's a little off-centered in areas, but I'm done trying to fix it. Canva is such a pain in the ass in terms of how to get things to work. So as you can see, the only thing that really changes, we're doing 5 places per screen. The reason why we had to change it this way is before the starting group there were 9 people.
Yeah.
And I was able to evenly fit 9 people on one screen, and I can't do that with 10.
That's fine. We can do 5 per, and you guys can deal, and I'm sure you can keep up with that. It's not,
Right. All right. So starting off is, I believe, yours, baby.
Okay.
What is your number 10?
Erica Clash. Now, I do love her energy. I do love her attitude. I don't like her looks. I will be very clear with that from the get-go because I don't want to lie to y'all. It never gets really better for me with her in terms of her looks. But that's also because I'm not into the same stuff she is. Right. However, for this particular competition coming out as a Cenobite, I do understand that she was trying to go with like a cotton candy Rubik's Cube kind of look, and if she were deceased, blah, blah, blah. She still came out in a full-on bodysuit. Whether or not she drew the rainbow veins on her legs herself or the leggings came that way, I don't know. And then in a dress that I would have worn to a disco party in my 20s.
Right.
And I hate it. And then she wore a PVC black vest trench coat, which is the only part of the look that I think could pass as a Cenobite whatsoever. Again,
there's no self-torture.
Yeah, I feel
there's
like...
There's no items of torture. She tried to do the... Oh.
It could be like, in my opinion, some of this rainbow stuff, it could be like she has these pastel bubble colors in her veins, and that's like what appears when she, goes to the other side. She did stylize herself as sort of like a baby blue deceased kind of color, which, could work. It's just not giving me Cenobite at all.
Right.
And it is not giving me homemade. And I don't like that either. This is a competition. I've said this before. I said this in the last episode. Bodysuits that are pre-made are not the way to go. And I know the Boulets bag on it later, but I think it needs to be said now.
Right. My number 10 is also Erica Clash. Now, I'm not as harsh on Erica's overall looks. I actually like Erica's looks as a whole. I watched a lot of anime in my life. I play video games. I don't like her looks and how it relates to this competition and how it relates to most of this show. I absolutely love that she has... Honestly, it almost feels like she could almost have her own little niche.
Oh, I love how unique she is. And I guess you're right. Like, when I say I'm down on her looks, I mean in relation to Dragula. And she is definitely alt-drag. Don't get me wrong, guys.
Right.
But she's not the dark monster that I feel like they're searching for here.
And this is not we don't think she's a monster.
No.
At all.
To me, she strikes me as like a bubblegum goth. And I love them. You need them. But they're like the cute little bunny sister.
I believe there is like one... I don't remember which one right offhand, but I feel like there's... Because she sticks around for a while. And I feel like, if I remember correctly, there's like one of the competitions where she actually did really well with how it relates.
Yeah.
Moving down. But most of the time, she's going to... I'm just going to let you guys know now. She's going to be in my bottom. Because she just... It always feels like
but her attitude and the way that she...
But she's an amazing
person. Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably why she gets...
Exactly. She sticks around because they're like, we need her to keep them all happy, content, mellow.
My number 9 is Monique. I tell you guys, or I've told you guys, and we've talked about Monique even during our season 1 stuff, and we will probably continue to talk about Monique
for a while.
Because
until somebody else who's as much of a hot mess ventures onto the show.
And even then it'll just be comparisons. This reminds me of Monique.
You're correct.
I don't. Monique has left an imprint.
Right.
Okay. She has her own.
Yes.
There's the term geological imprint. She has left her own Dragula imprint.
Correct.
As the hot mess that, oh my god, I cannot wait for the Last Supper. Anyways.
Don't remind me. He loves this shit, guys.
I do.
All right.
I'm going to tell you what my problem with Monique is and why she's so low on my list. She admitted herself that she thought the mask was going to be enough to get her a win.
Oh, I know. That made me so mad when she said that.
And what that
I thought
tells
my
me
mask was
is,
perfect.
what that tells me is she believed what we thought, but she believed it would be in her favor. And that is, she focused so much on making her mask look so good, she just threw together the rest of the outfit and didn't care. And that's why she's my number 9. Again, she has one of the coolest looking neck up moments of this
She does.
entire specific
Plus, she
competition
inflicts
this
pain
episode.
on herself
Yeah.
for her show.
Like, she legit staple guns herself in the face. It was like 21 to 23 times. I don't remember the exact number.
Forehead, cheeks, side of the face.
Right.
And again, the mask was amazing.
And the mask looked
and
fantastic.
it was a full mask. Like, I'm talking from, like, the collarbone up. The mask was amazing. But
the rest of the outfit, it was like, what the fuck are you doing, girl?
Yeah.
You look like a hooker. That's it. You look like a hooker with a mask.
I'm pretty sure that's what Willem said, too.
Is it?
Something about...
I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was biting, which is Willem's sort of bread and butter, which was funny. But, yes.
All right, your number 9
is Abora. And like I said when we were discussing her before, I can understand where this look would fit a Cenobite. What I hate about this look is that there's no torture for her. I also agree with Willem that wig is trash. It looks like straw. It's a bad... And I know Abora... Like, later on, you find out that her style is a bit of a mix of, like, this bird/bag lady. And that is her kind of art style. I will say this for Abora, though. If I did not know who she was prior to coming into this season, this look plus hands in the pockets... strutting on that catwalk, one of the best presentations in the clips that we saw,
right? Because
they were very short clips of their show, but she strutted. She looked amazing. She really had that supermodel look to her. So I understand the whole like fashion forward comment she got from the judges. It's just not torturous enough for me.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, your number 8.
My number 8 is Monique, and it's for the exact same reasons. I gave her a higher placement because I like the mask a hell of a lot more than I like anything Abora did. While I understand it, I don't necessarily have to like it. But from the collarbone down, this is trash. And Monique doesn't admit that it's trash necessarily, but she does admit that there's no thought in it. The mask was the money piece, and that was the winner, and nothing else. And that just, to me, I feel like when you come up with these insane sort of moments where you think you're on top, and you just don't put the effort into it. Like, I'm glad that she got a little bit of humble pie immediately.
Meatball. Sorry.
But I just feel like
that was Meatball in season 1, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But I just feel like you need to be brought down, and part of that is good for the competition, because you need to understand that you cannot do the same thing every single time and expect to win. You need to actually put effort forward, your best foot forward, head to toe. So I also just didn't like the rest of the look.
My number 8 is Dali, and look, she could explain away why she would come back as a pig all she wants, and the Boulets can even make sense of it, and that's fine. But if I'd have seen this look without knowing what the competition was for, I 100% would not have been able to tell you that this was inspired from Hellraiser. Not in any way, shape, or form. Now, I give her absolute props, by the way. She is one of the few people that did a head-to-toe look. And I think that's one of the reasons she got
head-to-toe,
picked.
Cohesive. Yeah,
to stick around.
But also, they do understand the whole story behind it, which I did appreciate. Dolly actually had a full story, which is why she had the full head-to-toe look.
And I'm not saying it's a bad look. I just don't like it for this specific thing.
Yeah.
And again, I want you guys to understand, Dali is my favorite contestant in the entire series.
Right.
I'm just not a fan of this specific look.
Right.
And my number 7 is Abora. Honestly, for a lot of the same reasons yours were, I really did like the creativeness of like having the dolls on the boobs.
Yeah.
And the butt, and like her turning around. Everybody else was impressed with how all of that turned out as well. Her actual presentation was done very well.
Yeah. It was very stylistic, is what it was.
Right. I'm not as down on the wig as everybody. I am still down on it. Do not get me wrong.
Right, but it's yeah.
I feel like it fits in a way that it looks like somebody who has been through some shit.
Right.
As anyone that's been parents knows, can be a thing.
Right.
But it still just doesn't do anything for me.
Right.
It doesn't. It's not.
I mean, I thought it was very creative that she's using the souls of her babies, however they became souls.
Well, she's the mother that takes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get that part. Like, I like that side of the Cenobite tormenting others, the sadism. But, like, where's hers? Right. It's the wig. It's the wig. That's what it is. Yeah.
All right, your number 7
was Dolly. And I say it like that because, again, makes me sad. They are one of my favorite contestants, period, in all the seasons so far. And I do understand this look a little bit more in terms of how Dolly was explaining it, but that's the problem for me. It took the judges explaining from their side what story they got out of it, and Dolly explaining why they thought they'd come back as a partial pig and for it to make any sense in terms of the Cenobites. And if I can't get it just from it was just one of those things, guys. It was one of those things. You look cute.
Number 6.
Okay, my number 6 was Felony. I like this look overall. My problem was a little bit more in depth than what the judges explained. So the front of Felony's suit is that glitter black that blended in with the curtains of last season. I'm over it, for one. That's not Felony's fault. But it was a sparkly black. It hid any of the mirror fragments in the front. The back was amazingly slashed up and strappy, and none of that was added to the front look, which was unfortunate. I did like the mirror placement. I didn't have a problem with no mirrors being on the face because they did draw broken mirror on their face. I think it would have been more cohesive, but on the flip side, they did actually draw like the cracked glass, almost gunshot looking facial thing. I loved the chain. I honestly, I agree. I think the boots actually fit the Cenobite look. So for me, it's fair to me that Drac pointed out that she hates those boots, and for everybody else, like, tip, never wear these on our show. Right. I hope that was not one of the main reasons.
By the way, at some point,
a lot of people do.
Someone eventually does come back.
Oh, yeah.
And wears them.
Actually, like,
and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, they get eliminated immediately as well.
A number of people do. I really hope that, considering this is the first time that it is actually straightforwardly pointed out that it was not one of the reasons that Felony was on the bottom for them. I hope that it was just between, like, the actual presentation show, them not liking the front of this cat suit, them not liking the facial makeup. I don't know. I hope that was not what got them in the bottom 3 to begin with. But I do agree with Depraved. I think it's a Cenobite fitting look. It's just not one of my favorites.
Right. All right. My number 6 is Bitch Puddin'. I want everyone to understand I have not watched all of the Hellraiser movies. I have seen 1, 2,
And the newest?
and the newest one.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I really, really liked who they got to play Pinhead in the newest one. I think she did an amazing job, and I hate that she gets so much shit for not being
Doug.
Doug.
She's not Doug, but
no one's ever going to be
no one's
Doug.
gonna be. Yeah, exactly. And
Doug Bradley is Doug Bradley.
Well, I think to me that's maybe part of the problem is instead of picking another Cenobite to feature, which they could have just another Cenobite. They specifically mentioned Pinhead, and that's where the problem arises. However, those are the ones you've seen.
But of the ones that I've seen, I've never seen any of them wear predominantly any color but black. Obviously, they have things that they wear that, like, chest being flayed open so it shows pecs, things like that. But it's almost always...
It's black.
Black.
It's black.
And I think that's what puts me off with this look so much. Is I'm thinking Cenobite, and this looks like stripper got caught in a car crash.
I mean, yeah. What's interesting to me is that Dolly, Monique, and Bitch, I think, all 3 of them chose to go with red.
And then you got a Bora who chose brown for whatever reason.
She chose flesh tones. I was not counting her because it's a completely separate color, and I wasn't counting the Skittle that Erica comes out as. But it's red, and
and I think that is my only real complaint with this outfit. And
right.
But it is enough of one for me to be like, I still don't see Cenobite.
Right.
I see Burn Victim.
Right. I can. Yeah.
It's a fantastic look. Do not get me wrong.
She did so much with the prosthetics.
And she did everything. We're talking
she
full
burned
body.
Her butt. She burned her butt.
Yeah, her ass was even prosthetically burnt. It was amazing and done a fantastic job. It just didn't scream Cenobite to me.
Right.
All right, moving on. My number 5 is Felony.
Right.
I wanted to touch on this. I do agree with pretty much everything Kat had mentioned earlier. But I do want to touch on this. I think here's what I hope didn't happen. One of the stories we get from Felony, and it's one of the very few things we get to know about Felony because Felony is not on long enough to really get to know them, is they came in 2 years sober.
They were going to be celebrating 2 years sober during
2 years sober during the filming of this. And I don't know if what it was 2 years sober of. I don't think they've mentioned if it was alcohol or a specific kind of drug.
Right. I don't think they mention it.
Or what. What I hope didn't happen is they took this hard enough and relapsed from it. Because that is a very possible scenario in something like this. I don't
think it did. I think I have heard of Boulet fans going to see Felony in productions that they've done. I will actually look into that because I agree. I was worried. And
the things that, again, on top of everything she has said, the thing that bothers me the most about all this is, and I mentioned this before, I do think Felony was unfairly placed in the bottom 3 and unfairly eliminated.
Right. Because
there was no warning. There was no, you shouldn't wear these kind of boots. And if they were known for wearing these boots, I don't think the Boulets would have chosen them
to participate. In the first place. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if she broke out the boots specifically for this look and then got punished for it.
Felony's look is probably closer to how she actually, the elimination scene. I'm betting that most of them, when they're allowed to revert out of the costumes that they've worn, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, it's closer to their own style.
Right.
And like I said before, absolutely fabulous, flawless in that.
And I am bummed we didn't get more looks from them to see what else they were capable of doing, because I even thought the idea was good. It's somebody who's so vain that in death
they're still sparkly.
They're still sparkly. Yeah. The mirrors that they were obsessed with is the glass that's sticking out of them. Right. It does suck that they chose the sparkly dress because it's hard to see the mirror pieces on the front that are sticking out.
Yeah, it just
I do agree with what's her face, Willem
Bell.
Willem Belly. That's where my confusion.
Yeah, it's a little,
I mixed it.
Yeah.
I do agree with Willem Belly. She should have put shards of glass coming out of her face, and it would have been a lot better.
I mean, again, she drew them on, but I can see where everyone. Yeah.
I don't understand the random spider.
Maybe I think it was a crack, was it not? Sure. I don't think that she had a spider on her face. I think that was the cracking of the mirror. Like she had her head smashed against it, or she was made of mirror, or...
I will say the strangest design choice to me were the teeth.
Yeah, that was a little, like... I mean, again, the mirror could have resembled, cocaine use, too. It could have. Because we are talking about somebody who... Struggled with addiction.
And again, we don't know what addiction it was. So
I honestly, I loved their look coming into this competition, and I loved their look going out of it, and I did not mind this look whatsoever. I really wish we had seen more.
Me too. All right, your number 5
was Bitch. My poor Bitch. For a lot of the same reasons. I don't mind the red because, again, not everybody is Victoria Black. You cannot make yourself look like you're flayed open. So occasionally a little touch of red where like some ribs or muscle would be showing. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Same for Dolly's look. And again, it's a very corseted, very BDSM community look. It fits with the Cenobites. My problem came more in the presentation, which is exactly, Bitch knew why she was up there. She did not sell the burning. And while it was beautifully done, and again, like Dali, praised for being a head-to-toe look. Like, she thought through every element of this.
Excuse me.
To be a burn victim as a Cenobite, you still have to have a purpose. And so if that's not sold, like, it's not sold. And right. I agree with them that she looks like she was, clubbing and got in a car crash, which is unfortunate.
Number 4
is Kendra from me. I thought she did really well. I really like the extensions of the hair that look like whips. I mean, obviously the dress and the boots are immaculate for this kind of look. She was gory. I love the contacts that went with this, the whited out eyes. Maybe nothing particularly Kendra or unique or...
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
My number 4 was also Kendra. I think she did perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's why she's a number 4.
I don't understand why she ended up being an outlier. Like, she got in the, like, just safe position.
Right.
And I think she did have one of the top 3 to 4 best looks, obviously.
Yeah.
We have her at number 4 both together. I will say the one thing that I could definitely see that the Boulets thought was she just didn't stand out.
Yeah.
It almost seemed very just basic.
I kind of wish she had done more, again, we get such short clips of their actual presentation. I don't know if she used her hair more on stage, because I thought that was one of the better parts of the costume in terms of, like, what would you use? But yeah, it was just kind of very, it fit Cenobite, but it didn't scream Kendra or unique. Yeah.
Right. My number 3 is the winner, James Majesty. The top 3 for me were runaways. in terms of look.
Yeah, they stood out from the pack.
I feel like the top three, 4, which was Kendra, in terms of the top 4, was a distant fourth. It was that these top 3 specifically ran away with this with this specific role here.
There was really no other like we have slightly different top 3s, but they are the same top 3s.
Right.
For that reason, it was like, okay, who were the top 3? Blah blah blah. Done deal. What order do we put them in? That's right. Like the rest of it was just sort of like
It was a mixture of everything you expect to see from Hellraiser: sexual tension, the bondage.
Self-flagellation.
You could see the torture that they were going through, as well as what they could do with it in order to torture others.
Right, but how they would make it almost kind of a sexual type tension fun while you're dying, because that's what they do.
And I only think I have it at number 3 because it doesn't feel pulled together.
James's look.
It feels just sporadic and all over the place.
Right.
Not in a bad way, because again, top 3.
Right.
But
it's a messier look.
It's very messy. It's, again, I think Cenobite, and I think obviously a more brought together and pulled together look.
You're thinking sleeker.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I do still like this look. But that's why I have him at number 3.
Did you ever see the short movie that Michael Jackson's in that was filmed specifically for Disneyland, Disney World?
I don't think so.
He goes to this planet as a, think Star Wars type of explorer, and it's a planet of just, trash. And the people are all dressed very much like this. Like they have dressed themselves out of the trash heap, right?
That's fantastic.
And the trash queen comes out. And so Michael Jackson has to basically kind of seduce the queen. I forget what he's there for. But he has to kind of seduce the queen. So of course he starts singing and dancing. And then by the end, the whole kingdom of trash has turned into this rainbow pastel lush paradise because of Michael Jackson jamming out. But James would have fit into the first part of that perfectly. Yeah.
All right, your number 3
is Disasterina. And I love this look. I really love this look. She really can't walk. She just clunky. And it is so clunky. It's full on just clomping down in those she's actually on crap, my brain just stalled, guys. Platform shoes, which I guess they weren't the 93 Demonia style. The
specific ones that
but they are still platform shoes, and she is still cannot walk in them whatsoever. Which is fine because I can't either. But this look is amazing with the hair that reminds me of Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, the mutilation to the vag, because obviously, this is drag, but the tuck is immaculate that goes along with it. Just everything is so perfect. Even her attitude on stage, while she is a disaster walking, she's still got that amazing attitude that just sort of brings you into her space, into her story. And so honestly, I loved this. I just wish she had walked better.
Correct.
My number 2 was James. And it's for a lot of the same reasons that you were saying. I completely get the Cenobite story from this. I really do. There's the lust for good looks and body modification, a lot of it feminine, the plumping of the lips, or the extensions on the fingers reminded me very much of the very long nails, claws that women are getting now. It really is a very good look where James looks partially in total ecstasy and partially in total pain, but is still coming on to the audience. So I think it was done quite well.
My number 2
It's Disasterina.
Disasterina. Please understand if we were ranking on presentation being included, Disasterina would have been like 5. But I'm doing this strictly off of looks and how it relates to this competition. And I just, this was what I was talking about in that like kind of pulled in, reined in feel.
Yeah. She's got the crazy. Like she's got the crazy hair and everything, but it is a much sleeker look.
I love the hair, how it like goes into her mouth and then down and around her neck and arms. And
It's its own lasso. It's its own torture device while still being very feminine and pretty and
Right. And as long as she's not moving, the very kooky mentality is on full display. She's got like some of the like
great
upper
attitude,
body movements down. But once you start walking, girl,
it's all over.
It is all over. I would run for other reasons. Okay.
I'd be afraid she was going to stomp on my toes.
And that brings both of us to the same number 1.
To Victoria. I mean, come on now, y'all. This is Cenobite perfect. This is perfect. I wish I looked like this.
I have never heard somebody not win a competition because they were too literal.
Well, and honestly, out of all of the times, and this is what gets me.
You nailed it too well.
Well,
that's why we can't give you the win.
I know, but this is what gets me the worst is, first of all, they don't really tell her that. And I don't know if it's they clip it for the sake of just, fluidity in the final presentation, or if they really didn't tell her much in terms of critiques, which I will say, they don't normally tell very much if you're in their top. They don't really go into critiques. But theirs was, this is a very Cenobite look. And then they move on. Like, that's all they give her. And she's standing there like, I don't know what went wrong. I put a lot of work into this.
As a matter of fact, when they interview them later.
That's what I'm saying.
Victoria's like,
I have no clue, fam.
I should have won.
Yeah, which hers is not an egotistical thing. Hers is a humble brag. She put a shit ton of work into that.
Right.
And this is the unfortunate thing Victoria runs into this whole season, is her looks are fantastic. And she gets so confused because she always is spot on, and then they're like, that's not Victoria. That's too literal. There are some times that there's other elements to it. I'm just saying in terms of her looks, she normally is a perfectionist.
And I feel like, for those of you that don't know, and we'll eventually get there with season, is it 3?
That she comes back?
No. Is it season? It's season 3 that her daughter.
Oh yeah.
Comes in, who we hate until like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, she totally tames down and becomes cool as fuck.
Yeah,
but
she eventually tames down, and you're like, oh, she's not a terrible human being.
Initially, you're like, dear God.
But initially, you spend so much time going, you're so good at what you do, but you were such a terrible person. You need to just
shut up.
Just shut up.
Please, yeah. Which is awful to feel about anybody, but they are, the skill is there.
And you can definitely see the influence from
Victoria in style, and
style.
And it should be said, I don't know if it's been said in this episode, but Victoria Black is a special effects prosthetics specialist. I believe she works at Orlando and like horror nights and well, yes and no, because again, it's a competition that judges on how well that they present it as well. And
does Victoria ever come back?
Yeah,
after
Victoria wins. Yeah, Victoria has a win.
Was that Titans?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember who won Titans.
Yeah, Victoria is the Titan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, her fam was so offended that she did not win this season. Which, by the way, She didn't win, and then her daughter goes on to not win. And then she's like, fuck this. I'm taking it. Right. It's mine, bitches. And honestly, I believe Titans is where you see a little bit more of, like, she gets more comfortable, a little bit more catty, and just her personality shines through. She's a fantastic human being, guys. Victoria Black is amazing.
Yeah.
She's just very introverted, and I think, being thrown in the first time through with everybody has sort of a setback moment where they're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
But this one was a stumper, and I really wish for her sake, our sake, everyone's sake, that it was explained to her a little bit better, because I don't agree that this look is not Victoria Black. And we did discuss that. I don't agree with the Boulets that this is just Cenobite 101 done 100% and fantastically. I definitely think this is Cenobite Victoria.
And I definitely feel like the story was present and apparent.
Oh yeah.
In her story.
Yeah.
All right, so.
So that was our winner. Winner, chicken dinner. The box has been opened. We have such sights to show you. And I know he said that he's only seen 1, 2, and 3, and I consider
it's
1.
Not 1, 2, and 3. It was 1, 2, and then.
Oh well, yeah, and I consider 1 and 2 1, because it's the same story, guys. Like, you don't finish anyway. I love Hellraiser. I love Clive Barker.
Clive Barker's fantastic.
But yeah, just, he's an amazing writer. He's a really cool human being. Knowing a bit more about his background and what inspired him to write all this, I still think Victoria Black 100% took the win.
We got to see somebody eliminated that I feel like shouldn't have been in the even bottom 3. We saw somebody that we thought should have won, didn't.
I still think James did really good job, guys.
Yeah.
Don't take the win from her.
No.
She did incredible. And honestly, as hot mess of the barbed wire makes the look, I kind of feel like it suits James and their personality, because it is a bit more, it's not the messiness so much as it is like the intricacy. Like all of the interviews with James, they're in a crocheted lace, high neck, almost like 60s dress, and I just feel like that it fits.
Just to give you an idea of how shocking it was that Victoria didn't win, though, James herself
was like,
I wasn't expecting to win. I looked over at Victoria
and I was like,
this bitch has got it.
Yeah, no, she had it.
So everyone was surprised.
She did.
That Victoria didn't win, except for maybe Monique.
Who was absolutely, my mask is gonna win this shit. So this episode was fantastic in terms of,
it was based on
the
horror,
the looks, the production, the sound.
Everyone did well.
How the Boulet brothers looked, like their looks were fantastic. The little clip at the beginning, their little short, was hilarious. It's just there were some lows. There were. Yeah. I feel like,
Oh my god, I cannot wait till we get to the lie detector episode.
Oh god.
That's the one, if I remember correctly, where Bitch Puddin' goes the fuck off. Because that's the one where when it ends, the Boulets look at her and go, "You got to stop worrying about what these bitches think."
No, that's not the lie detector one.
Is that not?
No, that comes up much sooner. I believe that might be the next episode. But it's where she takes the paintball gun to Monique and just lets her have it.
Could be.
But yeah, no, she goes off way before the lie detector test. They get Bitch to come out of her shell in episode 2 or 3, and I can't remember, because the drama gets worse before it gets better. And then you also kind of get the explanation that, so look, I'm surprised the drama with Abora inciting anger against Bitch in pretty much entire cast gets as far as it does, because she openly admits in this first episode that the real reason she is so mad at Bitch is because Bitch is there.
Yeah.
Because Abora put all of this effort into getting into this competition, and she gets here, and it's a win for her in Georgia. And who's there but another Georgian queen? And so it took the wind from her sails, I believe is almost explicitly how she put it. And to me, that is big fat jealousy, and it is uncalled for. And what she says to the cast about Bitch, while being a complete over-dramatized event that leads to reveals about Abora having a more toxic boyfriend, honestly, than anything. could have been a complete reputation destroyer for Bitch. Because she has to remember, this is being filmed. It's not just the queens in the room that are going to end up mad at Bitch. It's everyone in Georgia.
Right.
And luckily that didn't happen. But I wish it hadn't even gone as far as it does, considering she openly admits that that is her real angst. And it's very immature, y'all. On her side. But yeah, I can't wait for her to get the paintball gun in her hands, because that's fun.
Season 2 is exciting.
It is.
There's a lot that goes on. There are technically 9 episodes, I think, in season 2, and we're going to be covering. We're going to have it basically between 8, because 2 episodes are double.
For one.
It's
yeah,
for one
it's
thing,
for yeah.
Which sucks for me, because that is quite literally one of my least interesting.
Really?
I don't like Mad Max at all. I don't like the idea of Mad Max. I never have. I think the whole wasteland shit is stupid. Not the competition, just the. Charlize
Theron is so hot as Furiosa.
That's fine. I'm not worried about who's hot, who's not. I'm more worried about. It's just boring to me. It's a bunch of people in a fucking desert.
How could okay, so the idea of Mad Max is boring to you, but obviously that show is not. Like, they've got fire spurts coming up.
There are some cool things that they do between those 2 episodes. Like when they suspend them and make them fight each other.
Oh god, that's hilarious.
But like, I just don't care, because it's not a thing I'm interested in.
They actually have some hellishly good looks for that. That's all I'm going to give away for.
They do.
What looks they're going for that. I enjoy it. Again, honestly, I'm not a huge apocalyptic fan at all. Like either in my books or movies. Or
if I'm going for apocalyptic stories, I want like real world enders, not
after the world has supposedly ended. Right.
Like, give me something like 2012.
I want to see the comets.
That was a fun romp away from destruction. Like, they tried to get it. It was fun.
Right.
There are some exceptions. Do not get me wrong. For me, there's exceptions to every rule when it comes to my entertainment enjoyments. Prime example is, while I'm not typically a fan of stuff like Mad Max, I do like the movie Waterworld.
Oh. Okay.
Which is very similar, just more watery than deserty.
Yeah, it's a lot of water. Quite a bit, actually. That's kind of the problem.
But I also really like Kevin Costner.
Versus, is it Bruce Willis that does
I'm not a Bruce Willis fan.
Yeah, but I was just saying, he's the one that does the original Mad Max, right?
He might be.
He's Max.
I don't know.
I believe that's Bruce Willis.
But
I don't mind.
I don't mind Bruce Willis. He was just never. I think he's so tied to Die Hard for me, and I'm just not a Die Hard fan.
And you will die hard on that, Phil.
I will die hard on the fact it's not a Christmas movie. Yes.
I would have agreed with you there, but
somebody won't.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
But no, this is a really good season.
It really is,
I'm looking forward to it.
Really good competitors, and honestly, even when you add in people like Erica that were kind of like, she's really bubblegummy for this. Like, her attitude
is so good.
Really helps the cast. It's so good with this cast. And I would watch her for sure by herself in some like anime inspired world.
Right.
On stage, because I think that would be fun. Anyway, looking forward to the rest of it.
I don't even remember what the next episode is.
They do, I think, in this season, some of the coolest actual competitions. So I do look forward to seeing the rest of the season. The eliminations, the competitions, I think are just so much more out there than they do anytime else. And I know that looking back, they've said they could never get away with putting the girls through what they've done in season 2, now that they've gotten so much bigger, which is sad.
Oh man, I forgot. We get so many really cool episodes.
I told you, this season has some
of the coolest. The next one's Apparitions of the West.
That is the one that bitch goes off on everybody because she's told to.
And then we unfortunately get another Drag Monsters of Rock. That seems to be
Yeah.
everyone's favorite, but I feel like it's been done so much because it's like an every season staple.
Yeah, but I think this is the first season that they do it.
It is.
And so
It's definitely not the last.
And honestly, I believe, as far as I'm concerned, that this is the only one that they should have done, because it was actually done quite well.
It was.
It's a disaster, but it was quite well.
There's they have one that's called like the science fiction double feature, which is fun. Scream Queens, which is fun. Till Death Do Us Part, which is fun. And then the Wasteland episode. And then The Last Supper. And
I
then
like how you say that under your breath.
And then episodes. I'm sorry, I said episode. Episodes
of the Wasteland.
Of the Wasteland. And then there's the grand finale.
Right. Right.
I'm having.
But honestly, this season it does give me more of what I was looking for, and
Correct.
I would be interested in knowing what. I mean, I know that they've gotten some serious threats, guys. Like, serious. For what? It's a competition. It's a drag show.
Correct.
So, that's unfortunate, though, because it means that they can't do certain things that they did before, and it's just, Anyway, this season has some of the coolest places that they go to, and elimination challenges, like the Thunderdome is amazing.
So excited for Apparitions of the West. All right, guys. So with that being said, join us next week as we
plunge ahead
into season 2 further.
Right.
We're down to 9.
It's exciting. All right. Love you guys.
Bye.